Welcome to Deer Hunt, Wisconsin 2017. I'm Dan Small. For 26 years, we've produced this special program designed to bring you up to date on deer management issues and hunting opportunities here in Wisconsin. As always, we'll cover the basic information you'll need to have a successful deer season. Wisconsin enjoys a great deer hunting tradition and a positive national reputation as one of the top whitetail states. We'll focus on that tradition of families and friends returning to the familiar hunting grounds we cherish. Again this year, there are some new regulations, and we'll go over those to help you understand the rules before you step into the woods on opening morning. And as always, we'll provide a forecast for this year's hunt in each region of the state. Much of the information is in the pages of the 2017 Deer Hunting Regulations booklet, available at license outlets and at DNR service centers around the state. Some rules have changed since the booklets were printed this past summer. We'll post further changes on the Deer Hunt Wisconsin Facebook page. And if you miss any part of this show or want to see it again, you can watch the entire show on the Deer Hunt Wisconsin YouTube page. The Go Wild licensing and registration system is now in its third year, and through Go Wild you can purchase your deer license, select your antlerless tags, and print them all at home at no cost. Or if you prefer, there are still more than 1,000 license agents where you can purchase licenses and tags. With each deer hunting license, you'll receive one buck carcass tag valid in any unit statewide, and one or more farmland zone antlerless deer carcass tags valid in the deer management unit and land type of your choice. You may select your farmland zone antlerless tags when you buy your deer license or defer the selection until a later date. Bonus antlerless tags are valid only in the zone, deer management unit, and land type indicated on the tag. Bonus tags went on sale in August and may no longer be available for the unit where you hunt. Bonus tags may be purchased at the rate of one per day until the unit is sold out or until the season ends. Youth hunters ages 10 through 17 will receive a junior antlerless deer tag with each license they purchase. The tag is valid for taking one antlerless deer in any unit statewide where taking an antlerless deer is allowed. Youth hunters are not required to specify the zone or unit, but they must indicate whether they plan to hunt private or public access land. There are also special opportunities for Class A or C disabled hunters as well, and those are spelled out in the regulations and online. You must carry proof of a valid deer hunting license and deer tags when hunting, but you're no longer required to carry your carcass tags in the field or attach them to your deer, and tags no longer have to be validated or kept with the meat. Proof can be in the form of a Go Wild conservation card, your authenticated Wisconsin driver's license, printed copies of your license and tags, or a digital copy of your license and tags displayed on a smartphone or tablet. All deer taken must still be registered by 5 p.m. on the day after harvest, and you'll need your carcass tag numbers to do that. To sum up these changes again, you must carry proof of your license and tags, but you do not have to carry or attach your carcass tag to a harvested deer. You must, however, register a deer by 5 p.m. the day after you harvest it. You can register a deer easily online or by phone. Instructions are printed right on the tag. You can also register a deer at participating walk-in stations. Just look for one of these signs. This year, the 9-day firearms deer season runs from November 18th through the 26th, and the muzzleloader season runs for 10 days immediately following the gun season, November 27th through December 6th. The 4-day December antlerless deer hunt will run from December 7th through the 10th, but only in deer management units that allow antlerless harvest. There's no antlerless harvest in Ashland, Vilas, and Iron counties, and that part of Eau Claire County east of Highway 27. The antlerless-only holiday hunt is back this year, and it runs from December 24th through January 1st in all or part of the 17 counties shown on this map. To participate, you or someone in your party must have an unused antlerless tag for the unit where you're hunting. Now that many hunters use trail cameras to monitor wildlife activity, you might capture some photos or videos you'd like to share. And if you post them on the Deer Hunt Wisconsin Facebook page, we'll consider using them on next year's show. And if we do, we'll give you credit in the show. Hunter numbers have been declining here in Wisconsin and across the country. Here's DNR Hunting and Shooting Sports Coordinator Keith Warnke to tell us about efforts to recruit new hunters and suggest ways you can help.
We know that the number of hunters, including deer hunters in Wisconsin, has been declining slowly over the past at least 10 years, maybe longer. And that's of grave concern for several reasons. Number one, it's a large part of the fabric of Wisconsin. It's important for us as Wisconsinites to have that hunting heritage. Number two, it does a lot to go forward funding conservation. Hunters and anglers pay for a lot of the great conservation that citizens see all over the state. Number three, hunting does a lot for population control. And finally, hunting in Wisconsin supports around 30,000 jobs. So there are some pretty serious consequences if the number of hunters continue to decline. Now, as a hunter, you may be asking yourself, what can I do to help? How can I get involved? Well, we know from surveys that the most important reason somebody actually went and bought a hunting license was because someone asked them to. If they had never been a hunter in the past, someone asked them and they went and bought a license. If they had maybe been a hunter in the past but dropped out of hunting and they bought a license because someone invited them back. So to make it easier for new hunters to get started or for lapsed hunters to get reactivated, DNR has available a first-time buyer's license award. And you can get that first-time buyer's license for just $5 if you've never bought a hunting license before or if you haven't bought a hunting license in the past 10 years. Another program that we have is a mentored hunting program, which allows anyone in the state who's interested in hunting to give it a try sort of before they buy, right? So you can go hunting without ever passing hunter safety or getting a hunter education safety certificate as long as you hunt with a mentor within arm's reach. Now, one of the nice things is that we have mentor rewards program to go along with that. So if you as a mentor or active Wisconsin deer hunter invite 3 people in to buy a first-time buyer's license and they list you as the person who recruited them to buy that license, you end up getting a half-price license the next time you buy a Wisconsin DNR license.
One way to recruit new hunters and conservationists is to introduce youngsters to the outdoors at an early age. The Midwest Outdoor Heritage Education Expo, an annual event held each May, gets middle school kids from all across Wisconsin outdoors for a day of fun and learning at the McKenzie Center near Poynette. Let's enjoy the sights and sounds of kids having fun and making a connection with nature and natural resources.
As many of us have been introduced as young people into outdoor recreation and valued that in our lives and conservation, that's what a great event like the Mohi event here today is doing. And I believe it's a record attendance this year. I believe we had over 2,700 youth sign up for this event. I can say on behalf of the DNR how proud we are to be part of this and to help carry on that rich outdoor conservation and recreation legacy that Wisconsin is known for.
Thank you to the sponsors for letting us try archery and other stuff.
I learned how to shoot a bow. You should definitely come here because it's really fun.
We're really excited to see these students have such a wonderful time here because they go home and they tell these stories to their siblings, their parents, maybe grandparents, aunts and uncles, and it really has a ripple effect throughout the whole family.
By tying the fly, they can take something they made themselves and go catch fish and get them hooked on fishing.
Hunters, fishers, and trappers pay for the outdoors in the state of Wisconsin. As such, our license fees, our ammunition and gun purchases, the excise tax is put into a segregated fund, and that's what's paying for everybody's use of the outdoors. And if I could get across any message at all to young people, it would be that hunting's a good thing and it's a great way to get physical exercise.
Perfect. No instruction at all, she's got 3 bullseyes.
Number one, we want to instill firearm safety. No matter, sometime in their life they're going to come across a firearm. And with that, we want them to know how to handle it and handle it safely. Today's youth has really grown in the shooting scholastic sports programs, whether it's a rifle, pistol, shotgun. And with that comes a whole new responsibility.
They get to experience day-old chicks that have been raised on the Poynette Game Farm that we bring in so they can have hands-on experience to what a little baby's all about. but then also to be able to educate the parents and mentors and sponsors that come in. We're all connected to bring a hunting experience to our youth.
150 years ago, there were elk all over Wisconsin, and of course, then there were none. You know, a loss of habitat. We define what habitat is for the kids, and then to hear that we can bring elk back, and now we have a population of over 225 elk, and the population is growing every year with more elk being born, young calves being born every year. It's a pretty good success story, and the kids get a positive reinforcement about what it means to have an active role in conservation management.
Events like this often spark an interest in these activities, so organizers provide participants with information about where to go from here. Students and educators learn about mentored outdoor skills training programs available in their area throughout the year, so any expo guest can take the next step towards becoming a safe and ethical hunter, angler, trapper, or birder. Chronic wasting disease was discovered in Wisconsin's deer herd in Dane County in 2002, and since then it's spread to other areas of the state. Here's the National Wildlife Health Center's CWD project leader, Brian Richards, to tell us about CWD and how we can help reduce its spread.
CWD, chronic wasting disease, is a fatal, neurodegenerative, contagious disease of North American members of the deer family. So in Wisconsin, we're talking white-tailed deer and North American elk. Chronic wasting disease is transmitted via uptake of infectious agent. CWD positive animals are shedding that infectious agent, or rogue prion protein, throughout their bodily fluids, including saliva, urine, and feces. So through close physical contact, including nose-to-nose contact, it's fairly easy to see how that infectious agent can be picked up by a healthy, naive, susceptible animal. So if you are doing anything, including baiting or feeding, which brings inordinately large numbers of deer into the same space and time, if one of those animals has CWD and is actively shedding that agent out into the environment, we enhance greatly the risk of transmission at those sites. In areas of southwestern Wisconsin, prevalence, or the proportion of animals that are CWD positive, has risen dramatically. In the north central portion of Iowa County, in excess of 40% of adult males now are infected with chronic wasting disease. So you get into these older age categories, especially of males, and if you harvest a 3.5, 4.5-year-old buck, literally it's a coin flip as to whether this deer has CWD. A recent scientific study involving CWD was conducted using macaques, a close primate relative of humans. Some of the animals in this study were fed CWD positive venison, the same thing you or I might consume if we don't get our deer tested. And several of these animals did contract chronic wasting disease. To date, there are no known instances where CWD has breached that barrier and caused disease in humans. However, the bulk of the science conducted suggests that there is a small positive chance that CWD could cross over into human hosts. It does not, however, indicate that CWD will transmit into a human disease. Hunters often ask whether they should be concerned and what type of precautions they should take regarding the consumption of CWD positive meat. The World Health Organization has been very consistent since the 1990s and recommends that no portion of any animal with a transmissible spongiform encephalopathy, including CWD, enter the human and/or animal food chains. The United States Centers for Disease Control also has published guidelines and recommendations out there for hunters. Their recommendations are that if you hunt in an area where CWD is known to exist, that you strongly consider getting your deer tested. And if that deer tests positive for CWD, that you should not consume any portion of that animal. Go hunting this fall. Be safe, have fun, spread the hunting heritage. And if you're hunting where CWD exists, consider having your deer tested, and please make sure that carcass does not end up out in the environment.
Regardless of where you hunt in Wisconsin, it's a good idea to have your deer tested for CWD. There are collection and sampling stations in the CWD-affected areas of southern Wisconsin and elsewhere in the state. You can find a sampling station near you on the DNR website under keywords CWD sampling. Related to CWD monitoring, there are some changes in the baiting and feeding regulations this year. In some counties where baiting and feeding were banned, it's now legal to use bait because no new cases of CWD have been found. County regulations will continue to change as new cases are found, or if no new cases are detected within a certain time frame. Check the Deer Hunt Wisconsin Facebook page for updates. With another mild winter, a very wet summer, and reports of increased sightings, deer car collisions, and other measurable data throughout the state, all indicators point toward high expectations for an excellent deer hunting season in 2017. Here's a forecast for the upcoming gun deer season provided by DNR biologists from around the state. Across the 19-county West Central District, wildlife biologists are optimistic about deer hunting opportunities for this year. The West Central District lies within 3 distinct deer management zones: southern farmland, central farmland, and central forest. From St. Croix County in the north to Crawford County in the south, deer in the farmland zones are doing well, and hunters can expect an increase in deer numbers from those seen in 2016. Deer numbers in the central forest zone, while lower overall than those in the farmland zones, have also improved from 2016 levels. This year's favorable growing season has set the stage for abundant soft and hard mast crops. These food sources may influence deer movement and behavior until they're depleted. Hunters should pay particular attention to areas with concentrations of white and bur oak. Deer in the northern district came through the mild winter in good condition. Early spring greenup provided good nutrition, and better than average fawn production helped boost deer numbers across the north. With back-to-back mild winters and deer with strong fat reserves, hunters could see larger bucks with greater antler development this fall. Large blocks of public or public access lands managed for young forest deer habitat exist in this part of the state. In the past few years, public land managers have reported less hunting pressure. Not only are deer numbers growing, but decreased pressure can help bucks move into the more mature age classes. Twin and triplet fawn sightings were reported in some areas. Ashland, Iron, and Vilas counties will have a bucks-only season structure this year, but hunters should expect to see more antlerless deer and yearling bucks than last year. In the Northeast District, thanks to very good fawn production and survival over the past 2 years, there will be more adult bucks available for harvest this fall, and predicted buck harvests are higher in every county in the district. Most counties are offering multiple antlerless tags with each deer license sold this year, and Door County is issuing an unprecedented 5 antlerless tags with each license. The deer donation program is very active in this area, and it's a great way to put any extra deer to use in the community. Chronic wasting disease has not been detected in free-ranging deer in the Northeast District, but it is present in one Oconto County deer farm. Most counties near locations of known CWD have deer populations considered too high to be in healthy balance with the land. Hunters are encouraged to follow their County Deer Advisory Council recommendations for antlerless deer harvest in consideration of long-term deer herd sustainability. Consecutive mild winters, combined with a reduced antlerless harvest since 2014, have led to herd growth across the 18-county Southern District, all of which falls within the southern farmland zone. Hunters should see antlerless deer numbers slightly higher than last fall. The district has a wide range of deer habitat types, from the high wooded ridges and coulees in the southwest to the flatter agricultural landscapes in Greene, Rock, and Walworth counties along the Illinois border, rolling southern kettles in the east, and extensive wetland and woodland areas of Dodge, Jefferson, and Columbia counties. As a result, local deer numbers can vary dramatically from 1 square mile to the next. Most deer are harvested on private property, which makes up more than 90% of the landscape. But good deer hunting can also be found on the thousands of acres of county, state, and federal lands open to deer hunting in southern Wisconsin. And if you hunt in the Southern District, you may encounter deer or coyotes wearing ear tags and/or radio transmitting collars. These animals are legal to hunt, but if you shoot one, be sure to call the number on the tag or collar to report the kill and to have a DNR staffer pick up the collar. Earlier in the show, Keith Warnke mentioned that hunters' dollars pay for conservation, and hunting supports some 30,000 jobs in Wisconsin. Here's UW-Madison Professor Emeritus Scott Craven to tell us more about the economic impact of hunting.
Hunting in general is a huge enterprise, very important economically, both at the national level, with a total impact just released in a new survey of around $25 billion. And if you boil that down to the state level, with each hunter in that national survey spending on average $2,237, and do a little bit of math, all of a sudden the impact in Wisconsin is somewhere between $2 and $3 billion in terms of total economic impact. And it supports about 30,000 jobs in Wisconsin. So it's a big deal, not a business per se, but it does impact and improve the situation for many types of businesses across Wisconsin. The lion's share of the economic impact comes from deer hunting. You know, Wisconsin has about 700,000 hunters. Most of those, they may hunt other things, but they're deer hunters, tried and true. We still put about 600,000 gun hunters in the woods just before Thanksgiving, and those people are spending a lot of money on all the things you'd expect: travel and lodging, guns and ammunition, equipment of all types. Nationally, I think it's about half of expenditures are on equipment, only 3% surprisingly on licenses and fees. So the deer hunting component really drives the economic system. I think people tend to forget that there's a negative side too. Deer vehicle collisions are just a terribly costly thing in the state. Crop damage is a big issue, landscape problems, and other nuisance and damage situations. But the hunting situation, removing several 100,000 deer a year, mitigates some of those negatives. So essentially you kind of add that to the positives. And on balance, the bottom line is that deer are very important in a positive economic sense to Wisconsin.
For many Wisconsinites, deer hunting's an important family tradition. Let's see how one dad is sharing this tradition with his 2 young sons.
I had 8 brothers, and they took me out, and with a family of 15, pork and beef gets expensive, so we all got a deer hunting license, a rabbit hunting license, squirrel license, all that kind of good stuff. And I believe it made me a better man, and today I get to share it with my 2 wonderful boys. I took them to my hunting hole, I call it. It's a enclosed blind. He decided to take a nap after a long day. He had football practice and stuff.
He woke me up and I thought he was joking around, so I fell back asleep, and then I actually looked and there was 2 deer. So she kept looking at us, so we opened the window where she wasn't looking, and then she was about to run up the hill, and we went, and I got her in the scope and shot her.
When you take a young kid hunting, you don't worry about getting something every time. Just them getting the chance and the opportunity.
You know what I really like about hunting? It's so quiet and peaceful.
Being there and having a chance, this father-son kind of bond is a wonderful thing. So if anyone ever gets a chance to do that, go ahead and take the opportunity. Even if you don't hunt, if somebody offers you, go sit with them, see what it's like. Hopefully when I'm old and wise, you guys will take me out hunting. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Shooting accidents have declined now that hunter education is required of new hunters, but unfortunately, tree stand accidents are on the rise. In fact, as many as 1 deer hunter in 3 will fall from a tree stand sometime during his or her hunting career. Here's a first-hand account of one hunter whose life was saved by a safety harness.
There was a day when hunter safety devices weren't available. And even when they became available, I couldn't really afford them for all of my tree stands. But I've changed my mind from incidents that have happened in the last few years. Last year I was bow hunting and I was descending a tree. And when I got down to the 2nd step from the top, the tree stand ladder came unbuckled. The 2nd one snapped, and then I really feared for my life. But just as I was thinking this is it, my safety device locked in, and that saved me. And that enabled me to get down the rest of the tree safely. Once I got down on the ground and was still sweating, I realized that not only could I have been paralyzed, but I could have lost my life. So I tell my friends when they're hunting, if they value their lives and want to live another day and to hunt another day, they should do like I do and always buckle up before they go up a tree stand.
Before you head into the woods this season, be sure to sight in your rifle, pistol, shotgun, or muzzleloader. You can do this at a number of public and private ranges around the state, including several state-owned facilities. Many sportsmen's clubs and shooting ranges are open to the public, and some hold sight-in clinics prior to deer season. You'll find more on everything we've covered on the Deer Hunt Wisconsin YouTube channel and Facebook page. I'm Dan Small. Have a safe and successful deer season, and be sure to join us again next year for another episode of Deer Hunt Wisconsin. Wow. Anytime, night or day.